Hi, it's Kristen from Next Round Creative. I'm over at my mother's house and we are going to do some baking. We're making my favorite cookie, the almond lace nut rolls, and they are so good but really hard to make. So my mom's going to teach me. I can't wait. I'm really excited. So that's it for now.
So this
can't
is
wait to
my
check
mama,
in.
Lois, and she's going to tell us all about the recipe. So Mom, tell us where this recipe came from.
This is a tradition in my family from my grandmother and my aunt. She used to make it every year. They're pretty fancy, complicated cookie, but they're really good and worth the effort. So what we're going to do calls for 3/4 cup of almonds, a 1/2 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 tablespoon of heavy cream, 1 tablespoon of milk. That is it. But you have to get the ingredients pretty precise to what they say. Each batch makes very few cookies, so I'm going to triple the recipe. And I'm going to start, so 3/4 cup times 3 would be 9/4, so that's 2 1/4 cups of almonds. I'm going to put them through a food processor to get them minced. That's the first thing we're going to do.
So it's going to be pretty noisy. So while she does that, I'm going to put this camera on hold so you guys don't have to hear all the noise.
Okay, so we started off with almonds looking like that. We put them through the food processor, so now they look a little something like that. Now we have all of our ingredients ready to go. We have our sugar, we have our milk, we have our flour, we have our heavy cream, and we have our butter, which my mom is putting.
We're tripling it, so we're putting in 1.5 cups of butter. This all gets melted over the stove. And you have to be careful you do not burn the butter. So you kind of have to watch it.
All right.
So I'm putting the butter in first so it goes to the bottom. Now we're going to add 1.5 cups of sugar.
A lot of butter. I guess that makes it good though, right?
Yes, more butter. One and a half cups of sugar.
All right.
Okay. Now we're going to add the almonds. And it should be 2 1/4 cups of almonds. I want to make sure you
Didn't Grandma used to chop the almonds by hand?
Yes. She said that they were less oily. But
And now we have the food processor doing it for us.
yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, it would be pretty tedious. Okay, I need a couple more almonds because once they are, crunched down, they
Some more almonds? All
a
right.
little bit more almonds.
So we will be back with you shortly.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back and we have the right number of almonds.
Putting
They're in the
almonds
mixture.
Okay. Now we have the almonds, butter, sugar. Now we're going to do 3 tablespoons of flour. One. 2.
This is kind of to bind it all, right?
Yeah, I would say not very much, but apparently it's just enough. 3 tablespoons of flour. And now 3 tablespoons of heavy cream. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And 3 tablespoons of milk. 1, 2, 3. It has to be pretty precise, but not exact, obviously.
Yeah. All right, is that everything?
That is all the ingredients, and I'm going to mix them.
There it all is.
Now I'm going to.
You guys are going to be amazing at what that's going to look like in the end.
Okay, and I like to.
My mother and her wooden spoons.
Yeah, I like to use a wooden spoon when I do this.
We're going to mix it all up, get it gooey and ooey, and
Yeah.
it's going to be delicious.
Oh, this is the best.
So how many times do you think you've made this?
Oh, in my life? Oh, probably 40, 50 times, maybe.
Do you remember making it with Banna, my great-grandmother?
I don't think I ever made it with my aunt. 'Cause
No,
my aunt died.
Auntie Irene. I said
Auntie
Banna.
Irene or Banna. I don't think that Banna really made these.
No?
My aunt really was the one. I don't know whether Banna made them. My aunt was the one that wrote the recipe for me. And she made them. But she died in 77. So I was only 25. And I wasn't really doing holidays and so forth. So, you know, I was a young bride. I don't know that I was that much into this kind of baking. Okay, I'm just going to let this melt. So if you want to put that on pause,
All
we'll be back
right.
in a minute.
So now we're on to our next step, which is...
We're going to prepare the baking sheets. Now, part of the key to doing this is to butter the baking sheet. You can use a stick of butter, or you can put a little bit of butter on a paper towel. I'm just using a half a stick of butter, but you can do it any way you want. You can't use like a spray. It's not good enough. It has to be kind of thick with butter. And then you're going to be taking flour and flouring up the pan, the baking sheet.
I'm sorry for all the noises in the background. We have a bunch of dogs and cats. So,
May I point out
that is my dog. Jack Jack.
what I generally do is do two at a time, and the excess from one I put onto the next.
Hold on
So we
one
butter
second.
each baking pan, cookie sheet rather, and we put flour on it. Any excess I knock off and put onto the next sheet
And this is in preparation
to bake them.
to bake the cookie. Okay.
Okay, then I take a teaspoon, it doesn't matter, just a house teaspoon, and I put a teaspoon of the mixture. I only do 5 cookies at a time. I put a teaspoonful on the cookie sheet, and I put 2 there, 1 in the middle, and 2 at the end.
Look at that. Yummy.
Yeah, these are outrageous. They truly are outrageous cookies. Okay, now I'm going to take the pan and put it into the oven that has been preheated to 350 degrees.
So 350. And how long do you bake them for?
And I don't know yet. It's going to depend. Usually about 8 or 9 minutes, but we're going to see. It's really going to depend because each oven is a little different. And I do this all by eye. I don't do it by a timer. You cannot do this by a timer. I'm going to move this cookie sheet up. I'm going to move this cookie sheet down. Okay. Now, while that one is cooking, you will put it on a timer for the first one for, say, 7 minutes. And I put it at 7 hours again.
Whoops.
Oh no, yeah, okay. I did. timer. 7 minutes. Start. It's a kind of a crazy timer.
That's all right. We'll figure it out.
Okay, now we're going to do our next batch. I always have the next batch going because this is, and you see this was a leftover flour than the one before. It's kind of messy when you're doing this. When my aunt used to do it, she used to put newspaper in the sink. But
You
when I
used to do that too.
I did, but I realized I didn't really feel I needed to. I figured out my own method of doing it, and I don't have that much that I feel that it's kind of not worth it. I just kind of clean up whatever flour's in there. I don't put all the flour down the sink, that's for sure. Okay, so my second batch, and again, by the teaspoon.
Here.
You do 5. You don't want to do them too close to each other because when you see the next step, you're going to understand why.
We spread out.
Yeah, we're going to. And I'm just trying to keep as. I try to cook very neatly when I cook. I know not everybody does that. It's just the way I bake. Again, 5. I do 5 at a time. And you're going to understand why in a minute when these come out.
All right.
Okay, batch 2. I'm going to work on batch 3. We'll be back to you shortly. We put them in. You know what they look like when we put them in. This is what they look like now. Now, we take this out. We put it on a hot plate over here. We wait about a minute for them to set before we roll. Here's the next set. That will be done very shortly. That one comes out, the next one goes in. That's how they are when they go in, and you see how they are when they come out.
And it was about, how long? About 8 minutes?
About 8 to 10 minutes. You have to judge it by eye though.
You really have to watch it the whole time.
Yeah, so you have to wait until the butter hardens enough to be able to take the nut roll off. This is the hardest part of the whole thing. As you can see, they're not ready to go yet. But if you wait too long, then they become too stiff and you cannot roll them. If that happens, put them back in the oven for a minute to soften up. I'm going to go back and check on the other batch because we don't want to overcook them. They can see another minute. Depends on the temperature and the humidity. But you'll
They're
see
tricky cookies.
they are tricky, but once you get them going, you'll see that they go pretty well. The whole idea is to get them to the point that you can take them off in one piece and flip them. I've put layers of paper towels here to absorb some of the butter. You can see how these are coming together. Just wait a little bit longer. And we flip them over. Flip them over. These are coming out perfectly. Flip them over. Flip them over. I'm gonna let that sit for just a second. I want to move this tray over and get the other tray out. This one I can touch because it has not been in the oven yet. Obviously, once it's been in the oven, don't grab it with your bare hand. That would be
Catastrophic.
yeah, that would be painful. Put those two in. This we're going to let sit for a minute. And we're going to come over. We should be ready to roll. Literally. We are ready to roll. Back of a round wooden spoon. Make sure it's round. And you roll them. You have to do it gently. Roll. These are fabulous, and they look fabulous.
And that's why we call them almond nut
Nut
roll
rolls.
cookies.
Because they are almonds, which are nuts, and we roll them. They are beautiful, they are festive, and they, most importantly, I have not met anyone, even people that tell me they don't like cookies, always like these. Again, you gotta wait for this to be, and you have to wait for them to be just the right color. That is a very good color for them to be, a caramel
These are the perfect nut rolls right here.
right there.
They're the perfect color.
Yeah. And you want to wait for a while for them to set before you mess with them because they can
Collapse.
they can collapse, and you don't want them to collapse.
So that is the almond nut roll.
And we'll be back to you, Will, when we have them all done. It takes time, but they're a lot of fun, but they are fabulous to eat. Everybody, we've had incidences over the years where we fight over the cookies. We make all sorts of cookies. We make chocolate chips, Brits, butter, Swedish, lots and lots of different cookies. Okay, so we're just finishing up, and this whole thing is timing. You're gonna have to experiment yourself to figure it out. You don't want to take them off too early, but you can't wait too late or you won't be able to roll. So, and you don't want to overcook them, but you absolutely cannot undercook them, and you will not be able to roll them at all.
You need to cook them just the right amount of time so that the butter will solidify with the flour, and so that they won't fall apart and you can roll them up.
Yep.
And in a second, Mom will show rolling them. You need to roll them while they're still warm, so you kind of burn your fingers a little bit, unfortunately. And you roll them while they're still warm so that they kind of melt together. The dough still melts.
You turn them over upside down on paper towels, and then let them rest for a minute. I'm
Yep.
just checking the other ones I have in the
The
oven.
butter drains on the paper towels a little bit. And you let them rest for a little
My
bit.
next,
The next
batch.
ones are ready to go.
they are.
All right, so we'll put that tray over there. Mom will bring the next tray out to rest. Mom, do you want to film me while I roll these? Or do you want to roll them?
It doesn't matter. You can roll.
All right, here we go. So most important thing is the tool. We use these wooden spoons, which these wooden spoons have been used for years. So they have butter on them from the last cookies we rolled, which helps. And you take them, and you just start rolling the cookies. Like I said, they're still pretty hot. And I usually give them a little pinch just to make sure that they're together. And then you just slide them off, put them on the tray so that they can sit there. And you go on to the next cookie. And you have to be a little gentle so that they don't break. And you just roll, roll, roll. And be a little gentle. And slide it off. I think we waited a little bit too long on that one, but that's okay. We'll snack on that a little bit. All right, and the next one, roll, roll, roll. And slide her off. So that is the process of rolling. And that's about it. We're gonna go on to the next process. All right, so yeah, success. We finished all the cookies. So the next process is eating, which we're definitely gonna enjoy all these cookies. And that's about it for now. Thank you for helping make all the cookies, Mama. High five, success, yay. That's it for now.